Okay. Let's get back to where we were. We decided we'll go ahead and take the gnome with us.
For attentive players, this is the first time we've allowed a glimpse of the G-Man since Half-Life 2. In Episode 1, we suppressed the G-Man's visitations completely, to show that he had lost track of Gordon. But after Alex's healing incident earlier in Episode 2, he is actively watching again. Keep an eye out for him.
I don't know where he is in this part. Hello, Shade.
In Episode 1, Alex climbs up into a hidden room and uses a combined sniper rifle to assist the player. The player never sees the rifle, only the targeting beam. For Episode 2, we decided to show the combined sniper rifle and let the player know exactly where Alex would be standing when she used it. However, making it visible and accessible to the player required us to come up with a way to make the rifle usable only with the Vortigaunt's help. Though it's somewhat of a contrived and arbitrary device for keeping the player from using the gun, we felt it was a worthwhile trade-off, given that playtesters tended to enjoy the co-op sequence of Alex assisting them from above.
So Shade, what does this say? Looks like a wax and LB. That note's pretty far down. Uh-oh. Where did I put him? There he is. Here we go. We got a gorilla coming around here.
The ambient sound of the poison zombie breathing was placed here to make the descent into the building scary. Although most of the team thought it was comical, there were a few playtesters visibly unnerved by it. One playtester stood at the opening to this room for a long time, afraid to go in.
Mine victory again? So it's gotta be this whole place. Hey, Baron. So I decided to take the gnome with us, because I just have a feeling that I won't be able to get back up there. Or, I mean, back in that area. I can't remember.
Training players who haven't played previous episodes is always a challenge. Those who had not played episode 1 did not immediately understand that the Combine sniper beam was friendly. They avoided it, thinking it could damage them. Therefore, we added this staircase scenario, where we reintroduce Alex's sniper behavior and make a show out of her shooting a zombie to protect the player.
Well, thank you for the host. So they said to take the gnome. Well, I guess. Oh dear. It said take the gnome with me in this part. James? Oh, jeez. Oh, what?
This is an instance where observing playtests gave us ideas for tuning the experience. In an early version, playtesters would trigger the lights to go out and the zombies to wake up. Then, they would run out of the room and close the door. After seeing this repeatedly, we added a trigger allowing the zombies to open the door and chase the player.
Well, I stopped that there.
In this scene, we rigged an entity called a physics explosion to create movement among the boxes inside the dumpster. One playtester we had threw a grenade into the dumpster, and the physics explosion entity caused the grenade to fly back out. The player was surprised, thinking the zombie had tossed back his grenade. Although this happened by accident the first time, we went ahead and set up the entities to make sure it would happen for every player who lobs a grenade into the dumpster.
Wait, lob a grenade? I missed that part. I'm not gonna waste that. Yeah, this little bastard. I stepped on him or something. And just shoved this little hat in me. A little rocket. Oh.
There you are.
Earlier in the
No. Trying to- leave him. What? There he is. Ow. Time to save.
Saw blades were a prominent weapon in Half-Life 2, and we wanted the player to recognize them as part of their arsenal in the upcoming warehouse battle. After watching several playtesters ignore them completely, we decided to add the zombie pinned to the wall. Most players pull out the saw blade and instantly realize its potential for destruction. After that, they tend to find and use saw blades without further prompting.
Major fracture detected.
Dude! He did it again! How much was it that time? Just gives me a little punch. Get over here. Oh, good. Alright. You can wait in there. Be my bait.
The battle in the warehouse was created fairly late in the development of this map, when we realized that the level had a steady stream of combat, but no real climax. We wanted to take advantage of Alex's sniping abilities, building on the scene in Episode 1 where the player can punt boards off windows to give her a better view of attacking zombies. Here, we have the player removing tin roof panels to give Alex a line of sight into the room below.
What is he punching? Oh, okay.
Bring him out where I can get a clear shot.
Nice. Bring out shotgun. Get him. I don't know why they didn't update.
Lure them into the open, Gordon.
Change those permissions just before stream. They're still coming.
Lacerations detected.
What? He just... Wait over there. Oh, shotgun. Good, good. Alright, now are we done? Pesky little gnome. It's like he gets more ornery as you go on. Can't wait to send you to the moon. Oh.
As much as possible, we try to create small surprises for the player that aren't related to combat at all. With this forklift puzzle, we wanted to trick the player into assuming that once they operated the lift, the puzzle would be solved. However, the player soon realizes that the obvious solution is actually a bit of misdirection.
What? Stop that. You're really getting worse.
In previous versions of this level, the platform opened directly into this pit of toxic waste. Playtesters who didn't recognize the waste as something harmful would jump straight into the pit. We changed the path so the player could make a safe landing and slowly come to understand the toxic threat.
Killer zombies. Killer gnomes. Just kill
Minor fracture detected.
In previous versions of this level, the
Hello, punk women. Welcome on in. Trying to send this gnome space.
Laceration
We always look for opportunities to add narrative touches in our levels. The idea behind this chair, the submachine gun, and the beer bottles is that someone used to sit here, drink beer, and drop grenades into the pit of zombies. We give the player the opportunity to reenact this experience by giving out unlimited grenades and spawning zombies as soon as the player reaches this spot.
Well, that's... He's drinking 40s there, too. 40 liters.
We always look for
Stop. Here. Are we safe down here? Nope, nope, nope. I touch the goo. Wait there. Nope.
Minor lacerations detected. Warning. Blood toxin levels detected. Emergency. User dead. Imminent. Vital signs.
Did I just lose the
are
gnome by
dropping.
chucking him over here? I did. I figured that would happen. Yeah. Wait over there.
Warning. Hazardous radiation levels detected.
Oh no. What flavor? 2%. Let's see if I can still grab him. There. Good. I'm not gonna deal with you guys.
Radiation levels detected.
Almost there, good. Then we're gonna have a whole bunch of other new problems. The main issue with this gnome. Ow.
Can you see the car yet?
Although this bridge is not the first occasion for cinematic physics in the episode, it was the original test subject we used to develop our effects. In early prototypes, the bridge started off in its broken position. It was a static object the player had to navigate to retrieve the car. When we incorporated the cinematic physics, we thought this bridge would be a great opportunity for players to see an immense piece of the environment transform before their eyes. The bridge collapse not only showcases the cinematic physics, it reminds players of the growing threat from the super portal, and sets up a navigational puzzle they must use the car to solve.
Shovelies.
Major fracture detected. Automatic medical systems engaged. Morphine administered.
Alright, so I have seen that wedging him in between over here is our best bet for getting him. If I can even get on the back of this. There we go. Best to save too. How do I... There. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Where'd you go? Rip. Oh geez, ejected. Here, wait right there. And this is why I might not be able to beat this just tonight. Mr. Gnome. Causing us all these troubles. No, no. Because we lose the car, we lose the game. I mean, yeah, I think that's the smarter thing to do, Baron. You're right. Okay. Give Baron that 5 hit. Alright. It's gonna be annoying not being able to get up the back.
Can you find a way to open this door?
I really need like Gary's mod manipulator. Okay, good. You can like rotate and turn it.
The original Episode 2 vehicle was dubbed the Jalopy, which says something about how uncool it was. Early feedback was that it seemed too similar to the Half-Life 2 buggy. So we decided to redesign it so that players would feel excited rather than disappointed when they saw the car. Alex's original line when she first saw the Jalopy echoed the feelings of many early viewers. "What a wreck. Forget about White Forest. We'll be lucky if we make it to the end of the block."
Having decided that we were going to rely on a car to get to White Forest, we had to figure out how to get Alex into the vehicle. Games often accomplish this by moving their characters close to the vehicle and then teleporting them inside in a very visible and jarring manner. We knew this would ruin Alex's believability as a character, so she had to smoothly get into a vehicle the way you would expect a person to in real life. This was no small task, given all the strange angles and positions the player could work the vehicle into. Alex also needed multiple entries into a vehicle, given that the doorway she wanted to use could be blocked or otherwise inaccessible. This also provided interesting moments for Alex, where she could vault over the hood of the vehicle in a very heroic fashion. The interaction between her and the vehicle was intriguing just by itself. Once we were sure she could enter and exit the vehicle convincingly, we then had the task of making her believable as she sat next to you. Our first experiments revolved around Alex reacting to the physical nature of the vehicle. When it crashed into a wall, she needed to be jolted. When you went around a bend, she needed to lean with the momentum of the car. These details were crucial in making her feel like she was really going along for the bumpy ride with you. We also wanted her to be very aware of her surroundings and what the player was doing while in the vehicle. If you ran over a zombie, she needed to echo the internal reward the player felt for accomplishing the feat. If you were about to hit the wall, we wanted her to flinch and react to the impending collision, much as the player at home would be doing. There was a fine balance between making her too much of a backseat driver or having her be too quiet next to you. Ultimately, we wanted Alex's presence in the vehicle to seem so natural that players would never consider it anything other than normal.
I don't think I really got the full scope of what Alex Vance is or how she's created until the first time that I went to Valve headquarters. And what was really important was that I got a better idea of how big the team was. I mean, a lot of people work really hard to make Alex Vance who she is. And I mean, you hear my voice and, you know, it's easy to say, oh, that's Alex, or Jamil is Alex, but that is so not the case. These people spend hours in front of their computer or writing their scripts or dreaming up this beautiful person, and it really just, I'm just the cake topping, really.
Great driving, Gordon.
Well done, Freeman.
Oh my god. Look at this car. We scored.
Shotgun.
Oh, unless you want it.
I fear a more urgent errand demands our attention. There are advisors yet unhatched.
We'll keep on the lookout.
This road will take you near White Forest, but be wary that others may use it as well.
I can't tell you how grateful I am.
Our bonds are of nature and require no gratitude.
So there's a nice little jitter there. All right. The gauntlet begins.
Likewise. farewell. It has been an honor.
And the art fell out.
I'll watch the car.
Oh, good. It's just the map edge. Come into my world. Well, this part's really cool. It flows really nice. But we got this guy with us. Alright.
Should have known it wouldn't be as easy as just driving down the road. Looks like we'll have to take a detour.
Darren, you called it.
You know, it's a good thing I don't get car sick.
It's gonna happen more than once.
A radio tower. If it's working, we need to send a warning to White Forest. They've got no idea the Combine's heading their way. Do you mind if I wait in the car?
Why don't you just hold on to him? Kind of stuck on the engine. I remember what happened when you put him in the seat. He'll either fly out too, or he like clips under the car. Yeah, like if he's at the back here, he'll clip under the car and shoot out. And now he's even... There he goes. Oh. Where need to be going over here? I can't walk the whole way because you have to have the car. It forces you to have it. Oh my gosh. How'd he get way over here? We'll put Gnome over here. He can stand here and watch everything.
Nobody's home. Wonder how long it's been deserted. They must have a transmitter in one of these buildings.
Even though this compound appears open and non-linear, we're striving for a fairly reliable progression of events so that we can fine-tune pacing. The building on the right is bright and eye-catching, with the intention of drawing the player there first. The entrance to the ruin building is around the back, so that initial exploration through the center of the compound tends to lead to the radio room first. The drop-down entrance from the roof of the ruin building also helps us pace the experience, because players are cautious about committing to a space until they've explored the alternatives.
Well, here's the transmitter.
Need to put Bell on the
No power, though. Let's
Need a
see if we can
beeper.
get some electricity going. I'll keep a lookout while you poke around inside.
This room is designed so that the player will notice the main set of plugs right away, but is less likely to spot the second set at first. One end of the long cable is already plugged in, encouraging the player to grab the loose end and put it into the powered socket. This makes the faulty wire break loose and spark. With the power on, players try to return upstairs only to discover that now the elevator needs power. At this point, they look about more carefully and discover the elevator sockets. The short cord is tucked next to the elevator sockets, so that they're likely to try to use it there first, before realizing they need a longer one. Given this fairly reliable progression of events, we were able to write a limited number of lines for Alex so that she could react each time the puzzle changed state.
Gordon, hide. Hunters. They're out there.
Kidney stabbers.
It's on the roof. The door. Here it comes. They're not gonna catch us off guard. Not this time. I'm ready for you. So anyway.
These things hurt you so fast.
Imminent.
That was probably a scouting party.
Best way to kill him, though. Run him over.
This area was designed to train the player in the art of hunter combat, and during the development process it changed continually to suit the hunter's behavior. The first hunter prototypes could be killed only by the blunt impact of physics objects. Therefore, to make sure the player learned this technique, we trapped him in this area with one hunter and kept him locked in until he defeated it. Upon the hunter's death, reinforcements broke down the gate and doors, opening up the arena. As time went on and the hunter was modified to make it vulnerable to all types of damage, our grip on the player gradually relaxed, permitting freedom of movement and a wider range of tactics right from the start of the encounter.
In earlier versions of the Hunter intro, the hunters burst physically into the room by shouldering their way through the door. As the hunter's flechette attack came online, we decided this was no longer appropriate. Now that the hunter had an effective ranged attack, having him burst into the room with you actually put him into his least viable tactical position during your very first encounter, making him seem ineffective and a bit dumb. The current design is intended to showcase his abilities while giving the player the time and space to understand the situation before pushing out into close combat.
Oh, the other thing that's so great about acting for video games, and I guess voiceover in general, but for this particular game, is so amazing. I don't have to worry about hitting my mark or playing to the camera or forgetting my lines. That's usually my biggest thing. You can see the wheels turning on camera because I'm trying to keep up with my lines. But this, they're all right there, so I don't even have to worry about that, and I can just worry about the delivery, the emotional vibe that needs to come across, and just be the sense of immediacy. I don't even have to worry about the words. So that takes a whole other level off to let the actor just get down and into the work, which is really, really great. Which is why I love this job.
The scene where Alex sees the hunters for the first time since her injury was meant to be a turning point for her as a character, and an emotional highlight for the episode, both for Gordon and for Alex. One reason we had a hunter injure Alex in the beginning of the episode was so she could have a strong emotional reaction to the creatures, and use the start of combat as a way of building a good character moment. Alex's previous encounter has given her a visceral fear of hunters, but now she has to make a conscious choice to get past her fear and into the right state for fighting them. She uses anger to get there. We also use Alex's intensity to draw the player's attention to subtler aspects of the scene, getting the player in position for the best view of the hunters as the attack gets underway.
Yeah, I agree. Why don't they talk about Gordon more? She's a sit.
Here it is. Okay. The signal's really weak. Well, let's give it a try. White Forest, come in. White Forest, do you read? White Forest, do you read?
This is White Forest. Identify yourself.
This is
Alex? Alex Vance? Where are you? I expected you hours ago.
Well, we had a bit of a setback.
Don't you understand the gravity of the situation? The survival of Earth depends on the data you carry.
Yes, I know. But the Combine, they're heading your way.
What? What's that? What? You're heading our way? Well, I should hope so.
No, not
what,
us.
What was
the
that?
Combine.
You're breaking up, Alex. What? What?
Crap. I wonder if we got any of that. Let's get back on the road. Here, let me open the gate.
Cut off.
In this brief transmission scene, we are restating the goals of the level, while introducing a note of uncertainty and developing Dr. Magnuson's character. This scene was not strictly necessary, but it helped players feel some connection to Dr. Magnuson when they finally reached White Forest, and met him in person for the first time. In earlier versions, we tried having the hunters cut the power and interrupt the transmission, but this felt arbitrary. Players were more receptive to this scene after they had solved the power puzzles and survived hunter combat. It feels like a small reward in addition to the simple satisfaction of beating the hunters.
Okay, Boomer.
Let's get driving, Gordon. going. See if we can pick up the road somewhere ahead.
Did you like watching all that? Oh my gosh. It. Okay. It's actually a good wedge right there. Take it easy. Oh. See if he holds. Still on our side. Good, good. How did I get him that good in there?
Hey,
Right there.
I know that peak. You can see it from White Forest. We're heading the right way.
Who are we? Let's see him bouncing. Oh. Where'd he go? Stop eating my gnome. I'll fall out there for sure. Which city on would just be viable? Stop up here anyways. There.
Yeah, look. It's one of those advisor pods. Back in the Citadel, those things we saw.
This crashed advisor pod is a bit of storytelling embedded in the landscape. It hints at what lies ahead, while suggesting what must have happened in this location only a few hours before Gordon and Alex arrived. By placing artifacts of this sort throughout the episode, we slowly bring advisors into the foreground and develop their importance to the story in a way that doesn't depend on stage dramatic scenes.
There's an advisor around here someplace. Looks like we weren't the first to find this place.
And we won't be the last.
I think we found our advisor. The board said we should kill them before they hatch. Life support. What do you say, Gordon? Shall we pull the plug? Sorry about this. Maybe I can get this open. There we go. Over to you, Gordon.
Tongue tentacle. All they had to do was eat me right there, and the combat would win. Little did he know.
Gordon, thank God you're all right.
That's a little sound
That
glitch
thing
there
was
too.
hurt. Did you see it?
Makes like a tornado sound.
I can only imagine what it would have done if... Uh-oh. Sounds like it called its friends. Soldiers!
I'll get all these commentary notes in a sec.
We gotta get out of here.
I don't know if the music's gonna turn down enough or not for the commentary. Because that chopper's still out there.
This swirling debris effect uses much of the same underlying technology that powers our other cinematic physics events in Episode 2, but with a few important differences. Firstly, instead of using primitives, every slat, tile and beam was modelled before being sent to the rigid body solder. Next, there was a large focus on hand sculpting world forces in order to achieve a particular behaviour in the debris. Beyond the basics of gravity and collisions, we created spiral vortices, gravity wells, and some other more complex forces. With over 1,800 individually calculated dynamic moving parts, for a 30-second period, this simulation represents the largest amount of animation data run through our game engine to date.
The barn scene was critical both to this episode and to the development of advisors as characters in the series. They represent another intersection of story and gameplay concerns. This is the first time the player actually interacts with an advisor, and determining the right level of interactivity was tricky, especially given the player's reasonable expectation that he'll get to fight them directly at some point. Therefore, we wanted to show that they were powerful, but not invulnerable. This was a long-term goal. For the short term, we wanted to get the player familiar with some advisor behavior, so that when the episode finale occurred, they would already understand how advisors operate. By showing the advisor fumbling with an inert object, then a dead rebel, and finally grabbing the player, we allow the player to observe behavior and then gradually make it more and more of a direct threat. This all serves as foreshadowing for the episode's finale.
We've gotten better at building combat spaces that are open and tactically versatile, while still directing the player toward an optimal play experience. This combat is on its face pretty straightforward, but we're doing some subtle things to keep the experience even and well-paced. We're using quite a few of our combat tools in this one scene. As the first soldiers enter the barn, we send them in the right direction with an initial cue about the player's location using an NPC enemy finder. The first soldiers serve primarily to draw the player outwards, where the real meat of the combat takes place. The wave of soldiers that spawns as the player rounds the corner to the exit are the most directly controlled. One pair uses assault points to dash across the open ground and flank the player on the right. Others are constrained to hint groups in and around the house across the way, spaced so that the player is hit with an even front of fire, keeping them pinned for a while and encouraging cautious sniping and probing at the windows and doors. The broken down truck gives a vital bit of mid-ground cover as players leave the barn and advance on the house. Finally, as the player leaves the barn, we spawn the reinforcing hunter. We hold this back both to keep the difficulty more even, and because the hunter combat is better when the player has pushed outwards before it begins.
This is the hardest quick part. Because then we got a chopper shooting at us. And he just yeeted the gnome. So we just gotta stuff him in real quick. Get in. No!
Let's get out of here. Behind you.
Wow. I'm honestly not sure how we're gonna do this. Oh. Just eating chopper. Yeah, you know, I just took a few rounds of this chopper. Okay, where is he? I'm trying to get on this better side. Ugh. in there.
Get out of here.
Lost him somewhere over here. There he is. Oh. I think this part just start punting him.
I'll stay with the car.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Yeah, it just directly hits him. Rip. Gravity gun got some distance. Alright.
Get out of here. I'll watch the car.
Alright, we got some good health here. I'm gonna do a save right here. Come to me. No! Just get in there. That didn't work. Just no. Come on. You better be worth this achievement. Get in there. Oh, come on. Come on. What the heck? Moving back to this save because it had better chopper position. Alright. Then we're getting him in there. Yeet. What? I can't go not even that far. Oh my gosh. Okay. They really don't want you to get this achievement. go more than like 30 feet away without failing. Yeah, it's mute for right now. Okay, I think this is working. Where'd he go though? There he is. Nope, Gnome didn't hurt him. 69. Miss.
Wake me up when you get back.
What? Oh no, come here. What do you do? Jump to the right a little bit. Yes. Almost there.
I'm gonna rest here.
You do that. Alright, now he really has to get in the car though. No! What's he doing? Come back. Oh. I know the word guy, you just have like one charge and just blow up the helicopter in one shot. Right now I think the helicopter starts dropping mines, which is gonna make this even more crappy.
We should keep moving. Let's hit the road.
But the good news is I think this will be the worst part.
Here we go.
Oh no. Yeah, the action movie sequence right there. No. At least not shooting at me right yet. Don't give me that look. Does that not have health in it? For reals? Okay.
Our playtesters loved to see the zombie jump on the front of the car, and this naturally encouraged us to want to do more of it. We started off with a high frequency of occurrences of this behavior, treating the zombie leap as a gameplay element that could be played out in variations. Eventually, though, we discovered that this didn't lead to any really interesting gameplay, so we ended up creating just one memorable showcase of the event instead.
Okay.
Let's hit the road.
And of course he shut it off. That's just too much health. Thanks Half-Life Gnome. And we're stuck.
Go ahead. Let's hit the road.
Hold on to
Let's
him.
hit the road.
Dude, you just pushed me away. Okay, I think good little chunk of progress there.
We should keep moving.
I thought you weren't going backseat the whole time. Make it past the jump, please. Okay. Okay. This is cancer.
Let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road.
Ugh. 2 HP the dream. Oh hey, Gnome.
Do you mind if I wait in the car?
Where? I'm just gonna let him do it. Okay, not even shooting me?
We should keep moving.
Is he already at the next part? Where'd that noob go? Attack. What's he shooting at? I'll take it though. I think we're pretty close to the fight, though. Missed him. Wait.
Let's hit the road. You mind if I wait in the car? That was brutal.
Oof. Really use more health. Give the edge of the train there for the cover.
We should keep moving.
Not sure where we're gonna be going. Like a new save up here.
Let's hit the road.
Revert to the old ones. Things that start working. Oh, come on! I thought you were done with your volley.
We should keep moving.
Actually, I'm gonna do something.
Oh, crap! We may have to ditch the car.
This way.
Oh. Made it.
You brought that chopper in on your tail. You want to maybe help us take it down?
Oh, with pleasure.
Take it down!
Where'd he go? No. I think he shot back up there.
Brought that chopper in on your tail. You want to maybe help us take it down?
Oh, with pleasure.
Take it down!
Were you supposed to blow up? I thought it was supposed to blow up. Alright. Hide there, stay safe. Give it here. Oh, come on. No. The hell. Almost got crushed. Okay, I think that's the worst part about the Gnome Challenge.
Boy, are we glad to see you guys.
Whoa, that was amazing. The way you threw their minds right back at them. Well, I could sure use a drink. Who's with me?
We need to get back on the road, but our engine's shot to hell. I don't suppose you've got any tools for working on cars.
Tools? Got a whole shop over here. Come on, we'll get you set up.
So yeah, hit them.
Originally, the Episode 2 chopper battle was a classic fight that relied on the use of the RPG. In the meantime, we were experimenting with a completely new way of fighting the chopper, which we had hoped to have ready for Episode 3. The early Episode 3 experiments were so successful that we pulled them straight into Episode 2.
Episode 3, LOL. Shade, what does this say?
You coming?
I really wonder what happened though, like, especially in this commentary, like they're all so geared ready for Episode 3. And then they just gave up on it. Like, there was so much hype around these games back then.
Gordon?
I give the Combine a lot of credit.
I understand them being like
They're tough
trying to perfect it, but I mean,
real class act.
how can you just go about not fishing? Like there had to be some internal collapse of the group or something that never got released. And this is when Steam was also starting to make billions of dollars too.
You weren't kidding. We'll be back on the road in no time.
Well, that could be a problem. You hear that autogun going off out there? We normally run supplies out of the White Forest base, but a few days ago the Combine cut off access.
What do you think, Gordon? Maybe while I'm getting the car fixed up, you can see about clearing up that roadblock.
All the fresh zombies coming out of City 17 have kept them pinned down. It's just a matter of time till the troops start pushing this way. If you think you're up to it, we'll let you out there.
Huh. He's always up for it. Right, Gordon?
We got a trap door up here where I can let you over to the other side. That way you'll get to see the gun before it sees you.
Originally, there was a second driving section between the chopper battle and the autogun trenches. The pacing felt wrong, so we decided to remove it and connect the end pieces so that the train yard opens directly into the garage.
Good luck taking out that autogun.
Playtesters often failed to recognize that they could scramble through windows while they were avoiding being shot by the autogun. We added this window exit and forced players to use it so that they would learn to rely on windows to get around.
Don't punch me again. They have words that we know.
Some playtesters didn't realize that they would need to climb over trucks to navigate around the autogun emplacement. So we added this truck jump early in the level as a form of introductory training.
What? Stop that.
In order to train players that crouching through the trenches is critical for survival, we did several things. First, we start the player in the safe position by forcing them to crouch under the fence to enter the area. Once inside, they learn by watching the zombies. Upright zombies are gunned down, but their torsos are free to roam in the shadow of the junk. Some playtesters believe that while the guns were busy shooting zombies, they would be able to move freely. To counteract this impression, we increased the number of guns from 1 to 3, making it clear that there was always going to be a gun free to shoot the player.
All the zombies constantly going off.
Zombies serve the double purpose of horror and humor. Here, since we knew where the player's view would be, we added a comical scene of a fast zombie torso running away from a soldier.
Oh, rip.
Zombies.
Scan health once again. Oof, that really hurt. Should have health up here.
The original design for this sequence involved shutting down the cannon by flipping a switch. That was neither obvious nor rewarding. We decided to let the player blow it up instead, which gave us another opportunity to use our cinematic physics.
Once we added the onboard radar to the Strider battle at the end of the episode, we needed to train the player in its use well before they reached that area. This garage was already in the game as a place where Alex needed to stay while the player went alone through the autocannon area. It was a perfect fit to have the mechanic rebels add their radar to the car while Gordon was busy somewhere else.
Not only did they help me fix the car, they threw in a bonus.
Special this week only. It's like an onboard radar for you guys. Picks up little beacon jobbers like this one here. We've hidden a bunch of these things out there in the field to signal emergency stashes. So keep an eye out. When you see your dashboard light up, you're gonna want to stop and investigate.
I'll fill you in on the road, Gordon. Thanks again, you guys.
No need to thank me.
goes the radar. Stop the car, Gordon.
There's a lot of energy that goes into shaping Alex and making sure she stays on the right path or stays true to the vision that I think we have for her. You know, I want Alex to be liked. I know everybody at Valve wants Alex to be liked. But what is really great is that if I get off course or if I've been in the booth too long and I'm starting to sound a little naggy, then I have somebody who's there to kind of pull me back and say, hey, why don't you try it this way, or I think you're veering off course and starting to sound like like somebody's mother or something, you know, because I'm there to help if you're lost, you know, the get goings or stuff like that, to help keep the game moving and keep you on track. And you know, there's a kind of a fine line. You don't want somebody constantly bothering you, but you also want a friendly companion. You know, you want somebody to help you out once in a while. So trying to not go one way or the other was a bit of a trick for us.
We're picking up something on the radar.
So the circumstances around creating Alex were so kismet that it's almost a little scary. I mean, if you think of the ideal super self that you want to be, like, I don't know, badass moves and being able to karate chop everybody, and then add on to that having a rider to make you sound witty at every turn, it's like having an uber self for me. So I immediately fell in love with Alex.
She's out there blasting away. Oh. Went about 320 clips there. No, there's way in there. Oh yeah, the van.
I'll keep watch out here if you want to look inside for the cache.
Strong attention to visual design in this room make this unconventional puzzle both intuitive and rewarding. To begin with, the room is sparse, with a reward clearly visible but locked up in the cage. A strange centerpiece draws the player's attention, and the visible switch is obviously a part of the solution. The health charger next to the switch hints that the solution involves getting onto the catwalk rather than activating the switch from the ground. The van entrance discourages players from bringing in objects they might use to solve the puzzle by stacking. The lone grenade crate is a strong suggestion that grenades figure in the solution. And finally, the corpse in the rafters and the scorch marks on the ground, and the story they tell, provide the most important clue.
Blew himself up. Rocket launcher. Good stash then. Oh.
Rocket launcher. That'll come in handy.
What is it? They're so good. I love it. go full speed. See if it lasts through the loading screen though. Ooh. Nope, of course not.
I'm gonna rest here.
That's the wedge we want, where he jiggles about.
The approach to the White Forest Inn contains a number of elements that set the scene for the coming ambush. The road is blocked by Combine walls. A soldier spots you in the distance and radios you in, and 2 hunters run across an opening on the far side of a fence. All these clues are there for the attentive player to spot directly, or to create a sense of growing apprehension in the player who might be paying slightly less attention to the details.
So in each episode, we start by agreeing on how to use color choices to create and reinforce the right thematic tone. The tint of a scene can be a powerful source of mood. Episode 1 was pervaded by deep reds. For episode 2, we made heavy use of blue tints in the outdoor areas. The blue was meant to set an ominous tone, while the warm splashes of sunlight were intended to offer visual contrast that suggests a glimmer of hope.
There goes the radar. I'll wait here.
One of these crevices. Teach him to count 3 though. Oh well. We have our treasure already. Oof. Dang it. Wasn't so good too. Level the ground there. Almost. I figured it out. Right there. Well, okay. Hissing at me.
To complement the hunter's aggressive AI, the White Forest Inn was designed with a non-linear floor plan. There are multiple ways in and out of each room, as well as alternate routes to the basement and to the second floor. As the player moves through the inn, the hunters often select a shorter route and surprise the player by arriving first or by heading them off altogether. The last hunters that enter the building destroy 2 of the doors that have trapped Alex and the player inside. Removing these obstacles opens the entire outdoor arena for combat, allowing the player to choose whether to fight the hunters within the building or take them on outside.
The inn is designed as a crafting experience that is controlled but not linear. The encounter is intended to create a heightened sense of danger without actually being particularly dangerous. The idea is to create opportunities for some memorable unscripted combat moments by keeping the player a bit on their heels. Normally, Alex is out of frame during combat and soldiers don't survive very long. By encouraging the player to move back from the windows, the map creates space for Alex and the soldiers to exhibit interesting behaviors that reinforce the mood of the siege.
We got gunship too?
They're talking about us. They're still after the data collector.
Oof, oof, oof. Oh. Oh. Okay. Just the hunters now? Wanted to die? is it?
Three at a time. It's too much. Let's get moving before they send more.
You're too much. All the bullet holes. Uh-oh, thunderstorm. Better close my window real quick. Then let's go back up here to get that shield off.
One issue with the number of our encounters with the Combine is they don't live long enough for players to experience some of their more interesting AI. Some unique elements introduced here with respect to the Combine are branching assaults, so the soldiers introduced to the field don't take up predictable positions. Flexible assault points, so that soldiers can stray from designer-specified locations to establish line of fire or cover. Assault progression, a feedback system so that soldier advances respond to player actions and skill rather than timing. Giving soldiers different tactical roles. For instance, squads in the field distract the player, allowing other soldiers to execute surprise moves not present in our typical frontal assault scenarios. The net effect of these changes is that the soldiers appear to have awareness of the layout of the building that you're trapped in, and a strategy for flushing you out.
Dang, I didn't know she was so universally hated.
Put that turret down, Gordon.
There's the power source for the shields. Huh. They haven't skimped on security either. Let me see if I can disable the shields and get you closer to the reactor. Okay, it looks like I can open them from here, but I won't be able to come in with you. Here goes.
Why? Because she stole your border gun?
Sorry, Gordon. This thing's fried. Since I can't help you in there, why don't I stand watch outside while you disable the power cell? Surprise you one day.
You overhead the console. Couldn't hold the shields down.
Toxin levels detected. Automatic medical systems engaged. Morphine administered.
There's that morphine.
That should have done it. Let's go see if the force field's down.
Let's hope there's no more Combine between here and White Forest.
Did you ever play Bioshock Infinite? I thought Elizabeth was really good in that. For companion. She doesn't get in the way. So only supports you. Like, doesn't kill any of the enemies, pretty much. I think you can make her, like, be a turret or something, but... I like the help that Alex is given in this one. It's your auto pistol. Doesn't feel too overpowered, but powerful enough. Get in there. Right there. Oh, we have to jump. Alright, made it with us. Oh. Quick save here. Dang it.
You mind if I wait in the car?
How'd that fire even touch me? Shove you in there. Just cusp of that glitch spot.
We're picking up something on the radar.
Don't need it. No, he's rolling off just as it loaded.
stay with the car.
Oh no. Oh, good. Save though.
That doesn't sound good.
In the Source engine, we use a realistic radiosity lighting simulator to generate lighting detail for the geometry in our game worlds. In previous games using the Source engine, shadows were simulated as if cast by totally opaque objects. In Episode 2, we needed to render large wooded areas, which required us to modify our shadowing technology to account for the sparse, semi-transparent nature of foliage. With these upgrades to our radiosity lighting simulator, we are now able to realistically illuminate the trees themselves, as well as generate soft, semi-transparent shadows on the environment around them.
Alright, I did just see some major lightning outside, so if the stream suddenly ends, that's most likely why.
Over there. I see an antenna. Huh, I think that's White Forest. Well, we're close enough to make it the rest of the way on foot.
Foot? I probably want to do that. It's real doggo.
Get clear! Oh no! Doc, are you alright?
That's his brain.
Wake up, Doc. Please. You're alright. You had me worried there. Everything working alright? Good.
You all right down there?
We're fine.
Dog okay?
Better now.
We've been waiting for you. Just follow the stream, then head up the other side. White Forest is right there. You can't miss it.
All right. Thanks. Okay, let's go.
Our main goal with this scene was to create a cinematic battle of the Titans, Dog versus a Strider. While we were excited with the earlier implementations, it became obvious that players were uncertain of their role in the scene. Originally, the confrontation built slowly, with Dog squaring off against the Strider. But having such a slow beginning proved problematic. It looked great in the trailer, but didn't play well in the game. Instead of the slow build, we decided to send Dog straight into action. He makes a grand entrance, jumps on the Strider, and the fight is on. The quick start helps to grab the player's attention instead of giving them too much time to worry about what they ought to be doing.
The Strider has big parts of him that rip off. He spews goo everywhere. He's a great testbed for new modeling technology and our new particle system. We custom built him just for this sequence. With our episodic process, a lot of new technology comes online throughout development. Since any new technology takes a year or more to really work out all the bugs, we like to look for isolated areas, like this one, where we can test out new things without risking all the things we know already work. We did this with HDR in our Lost Coast demos. Once we're sure we didn't break anything, we can move the features back into general use. Since the Strider worked out really well here, he'll be the new Strider as we move forward, and we'll be applying what we've learned to any new monsters in Episode 3.
Alex's robot Dog is cobbled together from spare parts, all of which are in various states of disrepair. For Episode 2, we chose to use shading techniques to improve the look of Dog and better convey his scrapyard origins. Along with upgrades to Dog's texture maps, his shader now uses a combination of Phong shading and environment mapping to increase the apparent detail and diversity of materials, from rusty bolts to the damaged metal flaps salvaged from a Combine scanner.
Racing Dog to the base was not a preconceived plan. It was born out of testing the level over and over, and repeatedly trying to keep up with Dog as he ran to the base. This was sufficiently fun for us that we began to figure out ways to encourage players to do it too.
Well, I can tell you now, we're not going to win that race. Like we put that out.
Looks like we need your help again. Would you mind?
Years of working out bugs. They broke Half-Life 2 so bad they couldn't
Way to go, boy!
fix it.
Okay, Dog. Race you to the base. Step on it, Gordon.
Never felt like Half-Life had any companions. Oh yeah, he's gone. He's spoken. Goodness. We stay in the whole time.
This is it. We made it. Well, you won this time, Dog. Let us in.
We're done with that gross car. Finally.
So, a really cool experience was that.
I was never so glad to see him, believe me.
So, a really cool experience was that while I was at Valve, I was talking to one of the animators in the hallway, and we're just carrying on a conversation. I was getting to know what he did, and I just happened to be looking over my shoulder and noticed that people kept popping their heads out of their offices. And one of the other guys noted to me that these people, ooh, bless them, they have to sit around and listen to my voice all day long. So for that voice to be kind of just chatting in the hallway was a little weird. And I guess I kind of liken that. I can understand it because the very first time I saw my voice on Alex Vance's face, it was so bizarre. And so when I watch people talk to me for the first time and they've heard my voice as Alex, and they have the exact same expression, I'm like, I understand. I get it.
Hello, Dr. Freeman. Hell, Gordon Freeman. And about time, too. Alex! Dr. Freeman, you made it.
Hey! Boy, are we glad to be here.
Yeah, we heard you ran into a little trouble out there. Combine's been trying to hit in the front door. I think they learned their lesson.
You mind if we keep dog patrolling out here?
Not at all. You heard him, Dog. I'm gonna go see Dad. I'll catch up to you later. You take care of yourself.
I don't think Eli knows you're here yet. He's in Silo 1 access unit, right through here.
Shall we? I don't feel anything anymore.
You and me both.
What
now?
Oh no, what's that?
Well, now what?
Pretty sure this is...
All right, back to work, everyone. It's
It's just another false alarm in the secondary silo.
Let's take a walk.
Same old Dr. Magnuson.
So, you ever used an AR-2 before?
AR-2? No. Now, an AR-3, sure. Plenty of times.
There is no such thing as an AR-3.
Well, see, in the city, the place was lousy with AR-3s.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it was. So do you know what the alternative fire method does on the AR-2? It kills hunters. How did you city folk kill hunters?
We sure as hell didn't use guns. We would just wrestle hunters to the ground with our bare hands. I used to kill 10, 20 a day. Just using my fists.
Oh, so when you're out in the field, you're gonna be punching hunters?
In the field? I'm not going out in the field. I'm a radio operator.
That's it. Leave. You don't need to be here, and I'm not gonna continue the lesson until you leave.
I'm staying right here.
I am serious. Leave. Not going to continue until you leave.
Why does he feel like he needs to say all those lies?
Hey!
Hey!
Gordon! Man, you made it!
Dad,
Alex!
I was so afraid I wouldn't see you again.
There, sweetheart. We're together now. That's all that matters. And look at you, son. I knew if you both stayed together, you could get through anything.
Yeah? We make a pretty good team.
Yeah, well, that's good, because, well, now that the suppression field's down, we all have to do our part.
Dad?
Can you blame an old man for wanting grandkids?
That was a bit.
What happened to you?
Dad, it's not what it looks like. I'm fine.
Are you sure? Shouldn't we have that looked at?
Really, I'm fine. Where's Dr. Kleiner? We should get this data to him right away.
Okay. Yes, we should. He'll be glad for a chance to get out of the silo. This way, Gordon.
In sketching out the scenes for the episode, we noticed.
Going at it, you'd think they were still competing for grant money.
Some things never change.
In sketching out the scenes for the episode, we noticed a lack of interpersonal conflict between the characters who had survived from Half-Life 2. Alex, Eli, and Dr. Kleiner have a lot of affection for one another, as you will see in many of the scenes. And while we all value the benefit of strong, positive relationships, we were happy to have Dr. Magnuson around to get irritated by all the hugging.
It means a lot to me to have multi-ethnic heroine. When I was growing up, that didn't happen a whole lot. I mean, maybe Storm from X-Men, I don't know. But it wasn't commonplace. So to have someone that's my type be in that kind of position is really, really amazing. I mean, I think it's a popular trend now, but that wasn't always the case.
Do we have any idea how long until the super portal's active?
We don't know for certain. We're keeping an eye on it.
And what about the Combine? Will we be able to launch before they attack?
It's gonna be close. All it would take is one Strider to destroy our rocket. But we're ready for him.
I'm sorry we couldn't get here any sooner, Dad.
Don't worry, sweetheart. We're gonna make it. I'm just so glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Here's the rocket.
Don't worry, Izzy. They just got here.
My dear, what a relief. Not to mention a delight to see you here at last. And Gordon, I see you in the HEV suit have taken
Lamar's going
good
too?
care of each other.
Well, have fun, you two.
The data, people, the data! Kleiner, are you going to sync up the satellite, or should I postpone the launch to make time for a family reunion?
All right.
He's gone.
Just
He's finally
saying
gone.
Hello to Alex and Gordon.
Oh, fine. No one grants me a moment's peace, but by all means, unroll the red carpet.
Good grief. I only meant they might.
I know him.
Oh, never mind him. Now, my dear, where is this data packet you've been carrying? If I delay a single moment, I'll never hear the end of it.
You have my word on it.
It's right here, Dr. Kleiner. We've got a ton of data. The strange thing is, it was all attached to a transmission from Judith.
Transmission? From Judith?
Do you mean the message didn't get through?
We've got to see this right away.
Just let me start the decoding process, and then we can view it in the auxiliary control room.
For God's sake, hurry.
Yes, of course.
Another alarm?
Oh, what next in the parade of constant interruption? Hello? Is anyone there? Anyone? False alarms all day. Damn crows have been nesting in the tracks. I do not know how I am supposed to concentrate with all of this racket. Freeman, you're not doing anything. Make yourself useful and find out what the hell is going on in there.
Yes. Gordon, if you don't mind, I'd feel better if you had a look.
Catch up with us when you're done.
Freeman! The blast doors will have sealed due to the alert, so you'll have to go through the bottom of the launch tube. I'll open this hatch to let you down. Now, once you're down there, I'll have Uriah let you into the secondary silo.
Due to the number of characters involved in this scene and the cramped spaces, we found that the actors were constantly pushing the player around in order to get to their marks. We developed some tech that allowed the actors to gauge the position of the player and the other actors, and choose among a selection of marks. This not only solved the congestion problem, but made scenes feel more dynamic.
Dr. Magnuson was the result of a decision to bring forward another signature character from the original Half-Life, along the lines of Dr. Kleiner and Barney. As we developed the character, we kept referring back to this line from Half-Life to keep us on track.
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional. We've assured the administrator that nothing will go wrong.
Though we liked the character who came into focus, we found that this voice was sounding too much like a caricature for our increasingly grim and realistic world. We like to hire actors with the natural voices that we want for our characters, as opposed to hiring actors to create voice characterizations. In John Aylward, we found someone who could deliver the brusque arrogance of the original lines, and also take the character forward into some of the richer and subtler opportunities we foresee for him.
If you listened closely to the Vortigaunts in the Antlion tunnels, you may have heard one of them using a complaint very similar to Dr. Magnuson's here. Their affinity to Dr. Magnuson has caused some of his mannerisms to spread among them by way of their low-grade telepathy.
Rather than just make up something that would fit our fantasies of a rocket, we designed Dr. Magnuson's rocket around blueprints from the Titan family of missiles. Grounding the details of our world in reality, making them as precise as possible, makes the invented, fantastic elements seem that much more believable.
Attention personnel, this is Dr. Magnuson. Since the secondary silo staff seem incapable of solving their little crow problem, you will be happy to hear we have put the popular Dr. Freeman on the job. We all look forward to his remedy, and I look forward to hearing the staff's excuses for why they couldn't handle it themselves. Thank you for your
We intended White Forest to offer a change of pace from the constant action that preceded it. A few moments to reunite with old friends and get to know Dr. Magnuson. A breather before the big battle ahead. However, our first version of the sequence was a logjam of long, talky scenes. Gordon and Alex stood around listening to Kleiner and Magnuson argue at the top of the silo, then rode an elevator to the bottom of the shaft while Dr. Kleiner lectured them about rockets and satellites. They wandered into a control room to watch Dr. Mossman's transmission, and then hatched a plan to get her back. We knew we were in trouble when even the authors of the scene were bored, and no one had the patience for the revelations that followed. We divided the sequence into a number of smaller pieces that could be interleaved with solitary exploration and some combat. This required rebuilding the path and moving the control room upstairs, where the transmission scene became a reward for surviving the secondary silo. As a result of these changes, the White Forest experience is more varied, the narrative comes in digestible portions, and the players are able to play at their own speed, rather than being led by the nose the entire time.
This steam jet is an example of something we call a mechanic refresher. It's meant to refresh the player's memory on how to perform a certain task they may not have used in a while. In this case, we remind the player about using valves to turn off steam in a relaxed environment.
Valve?
In the map
Steam?
just ahead, this trick will be fresh in their mind, and they'll be far more likely to realize they can use steam jets tactically when they encounter them in a combat situation.
met.
Here's the Vortigaunt shape.
Freeman, the Magnuson has instructed me to admit you into the secondary silo. The secondary silo can be reached through here.
In Half-Life 2, when we first decided to make Vortigaunt ally characters, we played around with having a prominent Vortigaunt companion. Because of their bowed posture and semi-servile manner, this individual was dubbed Heap, after Dickens' character Uriah Heep. In Episode 2, we named the prominent Vort at White Forest Base Uriah. In Episode 3, we'll find out Dickens' unused middle name for Uriah Heep.
Episode 3, Heap.
Originally created as a minor background character, the Vortigaunt lab assistant, known internally as Labby, was so popular with playtesters that he evolved into a fully developed character with a unique name and a special place by Dr. Magnuson's side.
So you can't believe it. Ow. Whoops. The main hack did it?
One of the main goals for hunters was to make the player feel he was vulnerable wherever he might hide. This arena in the secondary silo became our testbed for improving the hunter's close combat behavior. A classic combat space, featuring multiple exits and many possible paths, we tuned it for a strong cat-and-mouse gameplay experience. While players had many options for escape, the map is designed so that hunters would never completely lose them, but always be able to pursue and flush the player out of hiding.
Level designers and artists now have the ability to create unique effects as needed, for gameplay or to add dynamic life to a level. In this case, this simple water leak wouldn't have been possible before without involving a programmer to create a new class of effect. Thanks to the new particle system, unique effects like this are easily created as needed, without any programming. This leak adds a visual point of interest through the area and also blocks direct line of sight into the nearby corridor, without blocking the space itself. These effects can be placed and controlled within levels, attached to animation events of characters, or called by code. Allowing particles to be attached to objects in the world, emitted from a model's hitboxes, and locked to bone positions allows them to serve a wide variety of functions, such as the new Vortigaunt beams or the burning effect of a zombie. We hope this feature will allow level and mod authors to create a wide variety of effects quickly and easily to suit their purposes.
Something you'll never use again.
Freeman, I repeat, there has been a breach of the secondary silo by way of the overhead launch door. I will trust you to seal the silo doors.
Wait a second. Split circle. I'm getting there.
This med kit.
Hey, it's Creepy Medic. He survived.
Gordon! Thank goodness you're okay. Phew. Glad that's over. We couldn't get in till you sealed off the silo when the blast doors opened up.
Regrettably true.
I better let my dad know you're all right.
We got time here. Yeah. We'll finish the game
Dad?
for sure.
Yes, Alex. Is everything okay? Is Gordon all right?
Yes, he's fine. And thanks to him, the base is secure.
Good, good. We're about to watch the transmission from Judith.
We'll head right over.
The Freeman must follow. If you would take the Freeman from here, I can return to my place of honor at the side of the Magnusons.
Sure thing. Thanks for the help. Dr. Kleiner told me that Judith headed north in a helicopter right after they got here. But he wouldn't tell me why.
I'm fairly sure I've pinned down the location of the project. It's hard to say how much of it might have survived intact or whether there's anything remaining that could compromise our work if it were discovered by the Combine. We'll need to take a close look at it, of course, but I should be able to give a better opinion within a few hours. If the site is where we think it is, then it should be no more than... I'm gonna cut this short. We may have been spotted.
Never have let her go.
There was no stopping her, Eli. Wait a moment. There's something else here. It's the Borealis.
Good God.
Incredible.
What? The Borealis? It's real?
Oh yes, quite real, despite its almost legendary stature. Our peers at Aperture Science were at work on a project of some promise. But in their rush to beat Black Mesa for funding, they must have compromised ordinary standards of risk. We heard their research vessel had simply disappeared, vanished, with all hands, and even part of the dry dock. Few believed the Borealis would ever be seen again.
It should have been lost forever.
Ah, but now that we've found it, we can use it against the Combine.
Did you
use it? That thing has to be destroyed.
But think of the advantage for humanity. We can't simply waste all that potential.
Has Black Mesa taught you anything? There's no controlling that kind of power.
Well, yes. There's always a risk, Eli. But my goodness, we have coordinates, blueprints, hailing frequencies. Quite ingenious of Dr. Mossman to hide it all in the carrier way.
Well, that means she's still alive up there. But if the Combine catch her, they'll tear out everything she knows. There'll be nothing left of her.
But we don't know for sure.
I won't take that chance. I'm going after her.
Now, Eli, the only thing worse than Judith falling into their hands would be if they should get a hold of you. She may know the particulars of the Borealis, but you know everything about the Resistance.
Listen to Dr. Kleiner, Dad. Gordon and I are more than able to handle this. We'll get her back.
Kleiner, where are you? Why isn't the decoding finished?
Oh, fine. The code. Yes, Magnuson. It just needs a little bit longer.
If you're waiting for the Combine's go-ahead, they'll soon be here to give it to you in person.
I'll hurry it along, Magnuson. I'll be back as soon as I finish.
Dad, are you okay?
Not again. No, I can't let it happen again. Not another Black Mesa.
Dad, prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad! Okay. It's okay. Just
G-Man told her
lean
that
into
while
me.
she was injured.
Let's get you off your feet.
Thank you, baby. I'll be fine in a minute or two.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Actually, Alex, would you mind getting me a cup of tea? There's a hot plate in the old staff room.
I'll be right back. Gordon, keep an eye on him.
We're not going anywhere. Thank you, baby. Unforeseen consequences. The last time I heard those words was back at Black Mesa. You had just stepped into the test chamber when he whispered them in my ear. You know who I'm talking about. Our mutual friend. When he brought in that crystal, I knew I should have aborted that damn test, but I didn't. The whole world went to hell that day. And now he's using my little girl, putting words in our mouths. God damn it. I should have known when he rescued her it was for his own damn reasons. Gordon, there's so much I need to tell you. Between us, we may finally have a chance of,
Here you go. Is everything all right?
There's nothing, honey.
All right, people, change of plans. There is no way we can launch before those Striders are... Oh, excuse me if I'm interrupting tea time. I'll just step out until you've finished, if that's more convenient.
It's all right, honey.
Well, Freeman, I believe I found the perfect use for you. Follow me, quickly.
We'll talk later.
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Aperture Science, being specialized in the development of portal technology, fit naturally into the cosmology of Half-Life. Rather than forcing Portal into the Half-Life franchise, we used it as an opportunity to make our world bigger. By suggesting a long-term rivalry between Aperture Science and Black Mesa, we open up possibilities in both games that didn't exist when they were separate entities.
It really does kind of ruin the moment.
So a lot of times we'll try a line in several different ways, like set a different mood for a different scene, or maybe just do a different take on a line. Like one might be, it sounds trite, but you know, one excited, one not so excited, or one a little more pensive and thoughtful. Or suggestions are always thrown out there for new reads, and it's the coolest kind of teamwork. It's not just here's your script, go. It's let's work this out. Let's find the best middle ground, and everything is always pliable. You know, if it's not working, maybe we'll go back and do an instant rewrite or something. And for me, that's creative heaven. Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break, and we'll finish up the game. I'll get you out of this room with a printer, though. The epic finale.
Freeman, Striders are coming. A single one of those damn things could shoot down our rocket. We Don't dare launch until all Striders are destroyed. Now, you've proved yourself capable, and the staff seem to respect you. Therefore, I'm putting defense of White Forest and this ingenious new weapon of mine in your hands. We call it the Magnuson device. Not my chosen label, you understand, but it seemed to please the personnel. Now look lively in there. Warm up the delivery port. Whatever you say. Now, what it is a sort of sticky bomb, although cleverer than that makes it sound. From your point of view, you merely pitch the device at the Strider's hull, then blow it up. I've struggled with a mechanism for launching the device, but, well, your zero-point energy field manipulator clears up that little problem. Now follow me, and we'll let you get in some practice while we still have time.
This whiteboard art went through several iterations, from highly stylized to absurd, through to something we believe we could ship.
The Strider Buster, or Magnuson device, started life as a Half-Life 2 weapon called the Hopwire. This was a weapon that would leap into the air and create physical connections via ropes to the surfaces around it. Once attached, the ball would be suspended in the air, ready for action. We never shipped that weapon because it wasn't generally usable enough in our environments, especially outdoors. One side experiment created the Black Hole Hopwire that the mod community found in Episode 1's code. You can still find videos of this in action on YouTube. The Black Hole version created a true physical vortex that sucked anything near it into an incredibly dense singularity. This created a small dense block comprised of all the mass and matter the vortex had collected, which the player could then pick up and hurl at enemies. We returned to the Hopwire for Episode 2, where we thought we could use it to tie the Strider's legs together and make it trip. But the mechanic of hurling and attaching the Strider Buster was more fun for players, so we moved the weapon in that direction.
Now, out in the field, we'll supply you with all the Magnuson devices you need through delivery ports like this one.
For the safety of the base, these devices are deactivated. They cannot explode like those you will find in the field.
Go ahead and take the device. That's right. Now toss it at the main body of the Strider. Good. There you go. Not too difficult at this range, is it? Gets a bit harder when it's moving about and firing at you, of course. Now let's move on to a more challenging task. Uriah, send the target to the far end of the rails. Very well, Freeman. Try it now. A bit more challenging at this range, isn't it?
Silence, Magnuson.
Magnificent device, isn't it? I'll be right over here when you are ready to head out.
Fans of Half-Life 1 may remember a gag involving a microwave oven in the Black Mesa lunchroom. If you push the microwave button several times, the casserole inside it explodes. A memorable experience for many first-time players of Half-Life. In Episode 2, we thought it was finally time to let you know whose lunch you had ruined, and give you a chance at redemption.
Had enough? Your car is fueled and ready to go. Now, every building in the valley has its own dispenser port, so you'll have ample supply of explosives. Now, I must get back to my rocket, Freeman. I'm relying on you not to squander my trust, or my Magnusons. Oh, and Freeman, if you pull this off, I might just forgive you for that debacle at Black Mesa. You know the one I mean, involving a certain microwave casserole.
So nice to have not having through the gnome around.
Dr. Freeman, over here.
He held a grudge
Taking a
for
few
20
liberties with
years.
your car. Check it out. I added a rack for Magnuson devices back here.
tweaked your onboard radar so the combines show up red on the dashboard unit now. Plus, it'll send a homing signal to your HEV suit in case you get separated from your car. No need to thank me. Now check this map. We're right here at the south end of the valley. Rest of the gang's up north by the old sawmill, here. Head on up there, and they'll fill you in on the battle plan.
We wanted players to use the car as much as possible, both to move around the valley quickly, and to run over the hunters as a quick and satisfying way of killing them. To encourage this, and to help with orientation problems, we added radar to the car, which indicated the location of enemies. This made the car a more valuable tool in the battle, and solved the navigation problem once and for all.
One problem we faced in this map was that players would abandon their car in the heat of battle and not be able to find it later. Given the time pressure and large scale of the map, some of these players couldn't succeed in protecting the base on foot. To address this, we started by adding flashing hazard lights to the car, which helped when the car was in view, but we still saw players lose the car among the trees or behind the hills. Eventually, we added a vehicle locator to the player's HEV suit, so players could find the car wherever it was.
The massive Strider battle was in production longer than any other map in the episode. Tuning it required many months of testing and iteration to address playtester feedback, and this was complicated by the fact that every time we playtested, we saw individuals adopt completely different approaches to defeating the Striders. Some threw logs at the hunters, others relied on their rebel companions to kill them. Some players never sprinted, while others never used the car. We tried to keep supporting all the different strategies that occurred to players so that their experiments with tactics would be rewarding rather than frustrating. Meanwhile, we had to make sure the Strider and Hunter behaviors were consistent and balance the experience so that it would be great for all different playstyles at every skill level.
Many players had a hard time orienting themselves in the valley. Before the fight, we send players to the sawmill without telling them how to get there. This was a way of familiarizing them with the map without any time pressure. Still, the size and nonlinearity of the map was confusing for first-time players once the battle began. The loudspeaker announcements that direct players to incoming Striders initially referred to compass directions, which most players couldn't follow because they couldn't remember which way was north. We added White Forest Peak as a global landmark and distinctive local landmarks like the cranes and the water tower, and referred to those landmarks in the announcements instead of compass directions. This helped, but some players still had a hard time knowing which way to go at any given moment. Our ultimate solution was the car's radar, which, along with the landmarks, helps players go where the action is.
Episode 2's rocket defense battle was the largest and most non-linear combat experience we had built. It was also the first combat we created that required the use of a vehicle to move from battle to battle. Our design goal was to give players a broad directive, protect the rocket from incoming Striders, and let them decide how to accomplish that. Playtesting revealed a number of challenges that we had to overcome, as the free-form nature of the map led to huge variation in success for different players. Small differences in skill or tactics radically changed the difficulty of the experience for players. In response, we had to continually tune all aspects of the experience to support the wide variety of tactics and skill levels demonstrated in playtests.
They really have it. I'm like surprised that the game's still like fun and decently challenging after hearing this commentary. Come closer.
So, they've sent Freeman, have they? Good man. We've counted a dozen Striders just north of us. Our job is to keep them from reaching the base to the south. If they get close enough for one good shot at the silo, the whole launch is a bust. And in case Striders aren't bad enough, recon indicates they're being escorted by packs of hunters. Now, what I want you to do...
Attention!
Uh-oh.
North perimeter breach.
All right, people, this is it.
We have a Strider approaching from the cranes.
Defensive position, go!
Strider at the sawmill.
Damn! Yeah!
Uh-oh. Don't want magnetism device. Where's my magnetism? Where are you?
Players under pressure can overlook basic tasks, so we try to make the important ones foolproof. On this map, players often forget to check their health level, but rarely forget to seek out magnetism devices. We narrow doorways and set health supply racks right by the entries, so that players rushing in to get explosives would find themselves automatically picking up vital supplies.
The Hunter's escort behavior includes specific formations and flanking strategies. This environment was designed specifically to enhance those behaviors by providing cover and visually interesting paths. In this way, the environment reinforces the design of the Hunter as stealthy, aggressive, and intelligent.
Strider coming from the cranes.
You guys see that lady?
Another Strider coming in towards what used to be the sawmill.
That hunter really screwed me up. Oh no. No. Blow it up. Oh my gosh. That was almost a disaster. Is that two? I don't even want to think about that.
Now it's personal.
About that gnome. Was that it? That was it?
Another Strider from the water tower.
There we go. Such an ominous sound.
We have a Strider coming in from the crane. Now there's one in the sawmill.
No! No! Okay, let's see, miss here.
We made some small changes to our autosave system as a result of tuning the final Strider battle. Autosaves are the periodic checkpoints where we can restart the player's game after death, so that they don't have to worry about replaying more of the game than necessary. In playtests, we observed that most players depended on our autosaves to restart after dying, rather than using their own quick saves. But because the fight allowed players so much freedom, some players ended up with an autosave that left them in a no-win situation. Low on health and pinned down by hunters, or too far from the base to defend the rocket in time, some players failed 30 or more times before finally giving up. To address the no-win situation, we extended our autosave system to monitor health over time, and to only perform the autosave if the player was deemed safe for a reasonable period of time. We also prohibited autosaves when Striders were within a certain distance of the base. This ensured there was always enough time to defeat them.
To create a climactic finish to the
Good work, everyone! Attention! Attention! The Striders have been defeated! All personnel return to base immediately! Repeat! All personnel return to base immediately!
To create a climactic finish to this level, we ramped up Strider density and citizen presence, and then systematically destroyed outer installations in order to move the action as uncomfortably close to the base as possible. It was important to us that everybody be able to play to the end of the episode, but we also wanted them to feel that defeating the Striders required a heroic effort. A balance had to be achieved between the feeling of being overwhelmed and the possibility of completing the level. We made many trade-offs to keep the experience enjoyable while keeping the intensity high, and sometimes this required removing enemies. For example, elite Combine soldiers originally took part in this invasion, running in and around the Striders and Hunters, but this additional level of enemy fire proved frustrating for players, and so they were removed.
Hey, Gordon Freeman. Good job, Gordon. Wow. Thanks, Freeman. Good going.
Wow, Gordon. You were amazing out there. Come on.
Come on.
In its final stages.
Telemetry
The
data
portal's
links.
close to opening, but Dr. Magnuson sure will be in time to stop it.
Complete. Tracking beacon. Oh, there's another bit of cruft we can ignore. Support equipment powered down. Hold on a moment, Kleiner. Ah, Freeman. Well, I see the Magnuson device performed flawlessly. I feel compelled to thank you personally for saving my rocket. So, thank you. Well, that's enough chit-chat. I've got a rocket to launch.
Wow. For a minute there, I thought you were going to get a hug.
Powered and ready.
Check, check, check.
Let's go to the control room. We can get a great view of the launch from there.
Did you do that? What? This one? Flight termination system?
Well, here we are again.
Range safety site?
Oh, that must be an ancient entry. There are no backup sites.
7 minutes in heaven, elevator.
It constantly amazes me how many people are involved in creating her, because everyone who is involved seems to have the same vision for her. And for so many people to have one mind about a character, it blows my mind. I mean, Very rarely do I get a piece of direction or script that doesn't ring true to how I feel about Alex, and vice versa. And strangely enough, as soon as I try something out and something doesn't ring true, I'm usually not the first person to say it. Even though I might be feeling it, somebody else will say it. And it's just, I guess, a testament to how in tune everybody is about what kind of person Alex is and what she would do, what she wouldn't do, and, you know, what kind of girl she is. While you were out having fun, I found an old helicopter that I was able to get working. I've got it all packed up and ready to go. Never a dull moment, huh?
Wait a moment. I'm seeing a payload anomaly of approximately 8.5 pounds.
Well, that's within tolerance. Certainly not worth scuttling.
We're back!
At last.
Ah, Gordon. Hell of a job you did out there, son.
Let's not forget that with the Magnuson device, those Striders practically destroy themselves.
Yes. Well, I think perhaps Gordon had something to do with their success.
I suggest we adjourn this meeting of the Mutual Admiration Society until after we have launched our rocket. Now, I believe we're ready to start the auto sequence.
I believe Gordon should have the honor.
You'll hear no objection from me.
It's all yours, Gordon.
Silo doors open. Stations, everyone. Power to main thrusters. Steady on.
T-minus 10, 9,
We're launching.
8, 7, 6, 5,
Steady.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah!
We did it!
We sure did.
Control myself.
Yes!
Fantastic.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Now it is still too early to celebrate. We need to reach altitude and transmit the signal.
Too right. The clock is ticking.
We couldn't have cut it any closer if that was our intention.
It is going to work, right?
It has to.
Once the rocket is in range of the portal, we'll be able to switch on the xenium resonator.
Well, let's get outside. I'd like a better view of the fireworks.
There should be quite a show. Regrettably, I can't come out with you. Magnuson and I will need to keep a close eye on the rocket's trajectory.
Aren't you going to see us off?
Just as soon as this is wrapped up, I wouldn't dream of letting you go without a proper goodbye.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. You too, Dr. Magnuson.
Indeed.
The launch of Magnuson's rocket ties directly into the rocket Gordon launched at Black Mesa. Here, the portal satellite array that opened a gate to Zen in Half-Life 1 has been repurposed to shut the Combine out. This is just another example of the way we constantly try to weave the old threads of the Half-Life story into the new episodes.
I thought there's no note in here. Guess not.
Gordon, hold up a second.
There you are.
The more I think about that warning from our friend, the more I'm convinced it has to do with Borealis. Don't be deceived. That ship must never be used. You have got to destroy it, whatever the cost.
Where are you two? You're gonna miss it.
Be right there, Alex. Gordon, thanks for everything you've done. For Alex, for all of us. I couldn't be prouder if you were my own son. Now, when you get back, we've got a lot to talk about.
Come on.
Eli, Gordon, Alex.
Dear God, this has to work.
We've activated the resonator. This is it.
Oh,
My goodness.
yes.
The portal has been neutralized.
We did it. We did it, Gordon.
We sure as hell did, and not a moment too soon.
I'll bet the Combine aren't too happy right now.
You got that right, sweetheart. But we've got plenty to celebrate. I wish you didn't have to head off so soon. If only it weren't so critical.
It's okay, Dad. We'll find Judith and bring her back. Dog? Hey, where are you?
What a nut. Don't go too far.
Episode 2's backgrounds or vistas are created in a manner that fuses traditional 2D animation techniques, using linear cards moving against each other to imply parallax, and a modern digital take which involves placing these cards in a 3D environment and manipulating their size and distance from camera depending on the scale needed. A series of cards can sit in front of a 3D skybox, and with the addition of atmosphere or fog, a realistic result can be achieved.
Oh no, I'm gonna do these notes because it's gonna spoil it for. Yeah.
To create the Eli death sequence, we talked it through.
Yo.
The decision to kill Eli was not.
No.
This final episode 2 scene was unbelievable. Before we even started working on it, the team sat me down and they kind of did a little show and tell of the rough animation that they had. And I think they were hesitant to show it to me, but just from that rough animation, I was so moved. I mean, just immediately moved to tears. I felt like I'd just been gut punched, and I immediately felt it.
Yeah, we'll leave those. I know most of you guys know what happens.
I think so. Dr. Kleiner gave us the Borealis coordinates. We'll keep the hailing frequency open on the chopper radio in case Judith tries to reach us again.
Good idea. She could well make another attempt.
Oh no. Dad! Gordon! Help! Dad!
Alex!
Dad! Oh. Get away!
Listen to it. Destroy that chip. Whatever it takes. Destroy it.
Don't! Dad, look out! No! Dad! Dad! God damn it, let go of him! Oh. Oh my God!
I love you, sweetheart. Close your eyes, honey.
I love you, Dad!
Don't look.
No! Oh my God, no! No! Gordon! Stop! Dad! Oh God! Dad! Dad! Dad, please! Dad! Oh my God! No! No! Oh my God! Dad! No! Don't leave me!
13 years, it has never been resolved. That is the end. Yep, Gnome in space. Although I haven't seen the achievement pop up, which I'm kind of low-key wondering if it's because it's in commentary mode. So I might not have actually gotten the achievement. Let's see. No. Oh no. I didn't get it. Because I was in commentary mode. Probably, I think. Unless I did something wrong. Oh my god. I'm so excited. I finally did it. Oh. That just means I have to do it again. Sometime. Next time I play through Half-Life, I guess. And maybe it got all the grubs too? We don't even know about that. Wait. Oh no. Yeah. It doesn't say the number that we got there. You need to get that one. This is like near impossible. Save all the buildings outside in that final battle. Kill a hunter with shits. Okay. Well, I'm gonna close off stream here. Might go ahead and raid that same channel. Sporara, she's been mostly doing Souls. She's been doing some Animal Crossing, but it looks like she's back on Bloodborne doing her Souls level 4 run. So let's go back over there. It's an awesome community, awesome people there. I'm just going to start this raid and you guys can just say whatever you want. We don't have a raid goal. Hope man cometh. Take care, all. See ya when I see ya. Wants to switch over.
What?
That started? Oh, there we go. It's going in 5 seconds.